So before we get started, we have to kind of change over the keys. Obviously, you do this by going to Unova link, key system, and then you can obviously find, the your thing that you get to change. And after you catch Regirock, you want to come here and select either the iceberg chamber or the iron chamber, depending on your version. Of course, if you have black too, then you're probably going to have the iron chamber, and if you have white too, like I do, you will have the iceberg chamber. And of course, it takes you through like the whole intro sequence again because you leave the semi-start menu of the game. So yeah, and I'm sure that you'll notice right away, Regirock had like a brownish reddish like color around the circle. Now it's a bluish color. So each of the Regis has their own kind of color. I believe that Registeel is kind of like a silverish color. I could be wrong, but yeah. So obviously we're going to be catching Regice today. I mean, if you couldn't tell by the blue, the ice, and the ice chamber, I mean, it should be kind of obvious. The strategy for this is no different than it was for Regirock because despite the fact that Regice is actually especially defensive, whereas Regirock is more physically defensive, it kind of just works out in our favor. I mean, when I tested it, one Psychic without crit or any kind of like special defense drop or whatever took it down to a little under half, and I had to side beam it a couple times because it kept using amnesia, and yeah, unfortunately we managed to get extremely lucky with no special defense drop or anything like that in case it became relevant later down the line. Not that it mattered, he used amnesia. So luckily we didn't kill it with a crit, which is very interesting, very good. And now we can bring in our Electros to set up the Thunder Wave or paralyze it, so that way it's easier to catch due to status affliction, of course. And then once Regice is done attacking Electros, we will be switching into Excadrill because of the immunity to every move that Regice has, which Regice has Zap Cannon, Charge Beam, Lock On, and Amnesia. So again, all electric type offensive attacks, and it obviously can't hit a ground type like Electros, like Excadrill. So, I mean, there's that. Fair bit of warning, tomorrow's episode is going to be potentially sped up. I haven't wanted to do that in a very long time, but I do want to kind of get my White 2 Let's Play over and done with. Obviously not in the next episode, but by Thursday, I would really like to do that. I'd like to get my next Let's Play started ASAP, and I'm sure a lot of people already know how impatient I am to get started on my next one. Especially now that I have a capture card. It's kind of been sitting here waiting to be used, and I don't like to just say, okay, well, fuck this Let's Play, I'm just going to start doing these cooler games or something. I don't want to do that. Someone may actually be watching, someone may actually need advice on this game, and I kind of want to make sure that they get that. Not to mention that because it's Pokemon, if any news kind of comes out, it gives me an excuse to kind of bring that information to people that may watch these videos more for the information about current things like events or whatever, stuff like that. Not to mention personal opinions about things like the hacks, like the news in general, like, oh, well, they come out with a Sludge Wave Gengar, well, this is interesting, maybe people might actually use Sludge Wave over Sludge Bomb, or, something like that. So I do try to be informative, I try to be thorough about my Let's Play, I try to do all that other happy crap, and I mean, that's part of the reason why I just won't ever just drop a Let's Play in the middle of a Let's Play. It's just not me. I'm the type of person that tries to be professional about it rather than just, do whatever I want to do. Not to mention, like, it's not that I don't do what I want to do. Example, like I said, I'm probably going to be speeding up tomorrow's episode because there's a lot that I want to do, and get it done so that way we can get started on the Elite Four. And getting that done, and hopefully someone didn't just fall down the stairs. But yeah, there's a lot I want to do and get it over with so that way we can get started with the Elite Four. The Elite Four is either going to get started tomorrow, depending on how well I strategize these battles, or I'm going to do everything Elite Four and Champion in Thursday's episodes, that way it's over and done with. I'm going to mention this ahead of time, Sharon and Bianca are not rebattleable in this game. You can battle them, but you need to have the memory link, which requires you to obviously have black or white put into your DS and all that other happy crap, and obviously with an emulator this is not exactly easy. I don't think that there is even a way to actually pull that off, because I think you have to do something like the DS Play thing or something through the like the DS's actual home menu, and my emulator doesn't really do that. So well, it can, but it doesn't like play as normal as it has been for everyone. So like that's part of the reason why you just won't see me do it. So do keep in mind that yes, you will be able to battle them. You can find Sharon on Route 5, and you can find Bianca on Route 1. As you remember in Black and White, whenever you start your journey, she wants you and Sharon to take your first steps onto Route 1 together, and that's where she'll be found, is right around that area. So I mean, if you want to battle those two and you happen to have like Black and White, you want to do the memory link thing, then feel free. Another thing I want to kind of mention while we're sitting here chucking balls at Regice, because it's a pain in the ass, I'm not going to be doing the Abyssal Runes in this Let's Play. No, I know I said that I like to be thorough, informative, etc. From what I can remember, it's not really different than it was in Black and White 1, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave a link to in the description of the next episode of the Black and White Let's Play that I did, the Pokemon Black Let's Play that I did, where I did that. I believe it's spanned out between 3 episodes, so if you need help with the Abyssal Runes, use that for reference. I kind of mentioned a lot about it there. I also explain all the things you need to do. I just don't think that it's needed to be redone. So something to kind of keep in mind. And the reason why I want to bring this up is because Cynthia mentions it whenever we go meet her, and I believe we've already talked to the one sage that is in Undella Town, who also mentioned that you need dive for it or whatever, and I believe we got dive from him. So I mean, there's that. Now, we can't exactly leave this cave just yet, despite the fact that we've caught all the available legendaries here, because there's something else that I want to do because it's informative. But before that, we're going to give Excadrill dig, just because that way it's kind of like a escape rope. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that. So what we need to do is we're going to be heading back to that one spot where we can get back into Twist Mountain from Clay Tunnel. And there's a cave there that we need to kind of go and check out that required strength, and we of course needed strength throughout a good chunk of this area anyways. So we're going to be backtracking our way there, and the best way to get there, as far as I remember, is by taking the carts, just because I know exactly what directions we're going, and it also takes only a few seconds, not to mention that you don't exactly have to walk as far, because a good chunk of it's you just riding a cart. So think of it as me being lazy, yet very thorough about it, because it's an easy way to find it, especially if you're kind of following along and just got the Regis and you're like, oh, there's something else that you can do here. So yeah. So, I mean, once you just backtrack through all the carts that you obviously had to ride to get to the Regis, you can get back to the area that we need to be. I really wish I could get over saying a lot. I don't know why I do that. I wonder if there's like a medical thing that kind of says, oh, hey, you do this because of that. But whatever. Anyways, now that we're back in Twist Mountain, we can get back to this one cave, and I'm sure that you all might remember this from when we were in Twist Mountain before. It does have the Regi's music, and in order to get through this little maze, you do need strength. You have to push these strength boulders into these 3 slots. I think there's only 3 strength boulders off the top of my head. I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure there's only 3. But yeah, you have to push them into their holes and kind of use them to maneuver through things, because you can't get into the other area over there without pushing that one down, because it was kind of blocking the path over to here. So this one you have to push up just to about right here, then you have to push it over 1, and you have to push it up again. Otherwise you kind of just make it so you can't get where you need to go, or if you do, you kind of need to roundhouse it. And now that we've pushed the last boulder in, as you can kind of tell, anyone who doesn't know what this sprite actually is, this is Regigigas. However, it will not activate unless you have all 3 of the Regis, and obviously we can't get them because, again, I can't get the 3rd key because this is an emulator, and obviously I can't, do the whole, oh hey, infrared thing and get the last key. So if you happen to, once you get your last key, catch your last Regi, I would recommend the same strategy if you use a very similar team to me for whatever reason. I would recommend doing that and catching Regi Steel if you're playing White 2, or if you're playing Black 2, it's probably Regice. using a similar strategy for that, and then going just a bit north into Twist Mountain and going into that cave and getting Regice. I don't know what strategy I would exactly use against Regice, but I'd probably do something very similar. I don't remember if it has like, I don't know, it doesn't have like the Zap Cannon stuff if I remember correctly. So, I mean, there's that. So we don't need Extra Drill anymore, and checking the Regis, the synchronizer for my Espeon kind of worked on both of them. They both ended up getting a Timid nature. Timid's not exactly bad for Regice, but it's pretty bad for Regirock, because Regirock's more of a physical attacker rather than a special attacker. Regice, you can do Thunderbolt, you can do Ice Beam. I don't remember what all other cool things it gets, but you kind of get the gist of it. So for the upcoming battles that we're going to be doing, I kind of want to give a few PPFs to Kyurem here because it's going to be useful at least in one of the battles, and yeah. Well, okay, it's going to be useful for the only battle we're going to be doing in this episode. So, we need to lead with Kyurem because the first trainer that we're going to be battling is all the way back in Flossy Town. And for anyone who has played this game before or who has been following along with this Let's Play, you might remember a rather big name in Flossy Town, and that person being Alder. Alder has been sitting here kind of helping around, like out with like I guess some of the kids and like this like the trainer school or something here. So he's kind of just sitting here doing whatever, and of course the repel wears off, and we'll just use another one because why the hell not? So he wants to spar off against the strongest trainer in the Unova region, which happens to be us. So we'll be battling against Alder, the former champion of the Unova region, and now basically kind of a teacher, I guess. So he's going to be leading with an Excelgor, and he also happens to have on his team a level 60 Escavalier, level 60 Bouffalant, level 60 Conkeldurr, level 60 Braviary, and as his ace a level 62 Volcarona. So yeah, as you can tell, Excelgor, Escavalier, and yeah, like those two are just by themselves are weak to Kyurem. There's also the fact that Braviary can be hit by Ice Beam, or yeah, Ice Beam super effectively, and yeah, I mean, yeah, and obviously an Ice type's going to be kind of like, oh hey, Fighting type's going to be something against this. Well, I have Psychic type that's not only faster, but yeah, I mean, let's be real, it's Espeon. I don't need to explain Espeon, it's Espeon. So he's going to bring in Bouffalant, which is obviously a normal type, so what do we do to normal types, people? We bring in a fighting type that happens to have close combat, stab, and a very nice attack stat, so this should be kind of free. I mean, despite the fact that, you know, 22 levels apart, but you know, so, I mean, easy. This is an easy fight, especially at this point in the game for us, because his highest level Pokemon is 62, and my highest level Pokemon is 82. So the fact that there's like a 20 level difference between his ace and basically mine, yeah. So, I mean, Braviary, obviously we could have used Kyurem for this, but I whatever. Kind of want to give a few fair shots here to some of the other Pokemon. So Ice Beaming this Braviary should be free enough, and then he's also, for some reason, going to bring in Volcarona, because I believe he has one other Pokemon. I believe it was Escavalier. So I'm not sure what compelled him to bring in the Volcarona. It doesn't have anything that's good against water types, so I don't know, maybe he thought, hey, maybe I can outspeed it with this. I mean, I don't know, kind of figured get damage in while you can. I don't know, whatever. So, in comes Kyurem for the last Pokemon, and that would be, of course, the Escavalier. You know, happen to have a Bug and a Bug Steel type on your team, it's great. He happens to have 3 Bug types, but obviously one of them isn't. Fire doesn't exactly do too much to the other one, because, you know. But, that'll be the end of Alder. Obviously, we don't have to worry about this ever again, thank God. In the next episode, we'll be taking on Cynthia and 2 members of the Game Freak board, I guess you could call it. But one thing that we kind of have to cover before this is Alder's grandson. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he kind of talks like, oh hey, who's this guy, whatever, you know. He's talking about the tree in White Forest. You can, it's kind of like a battle frontier type of thing, or a battle tower, you know, whatever, something like that. It's not bad. I've played through it before. If you want to do it, you can get a free shiny out of it, which is really cool, of course. But obviously we won't be doing that because it's not exactly necessary, and it's just more trainer battles. It's, you know. But anyways, we'll be taking on Cynthia in the next episode, as well as 2 members of Game Freak, and hopefully getting started on the Elite Four. So be sure to stay tuned for that if you haven't already. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe, and until next time, this is the PokeGamer signing out.